Hey there, good morning. It's 7:30. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm your host, Bridgett Ellison. The time now again, 7:30 on this November 28th. It is Taco Tuesday. It is also Giving Tuesday. And if you're not familiar, Giving Tuesday is a time when we like to give back in whatever way we can with time, talents, treasure, and, especially when it comes to great causes. And so, of course, here at News 6, this time of year, we really celebrate Salvation Army's Angel Tree program. So we have a special phone bank going on. We're also talking about holiday stress management. We're trying to get to that before Thanksgiving, but you know what? It's still the holidays. Holidays fully in effect now, so we will talk to an expert about that. But first, this cool down. It is definitely sweater weather, coat weather. Meteorologist Candace Campos is here, and you've got your sweater on. I've got my tights on. You've got the boots, but not with the fur. But it's not going to warm up anytime soon.
Yeah, and how often do we pack the kids with their sweaters and they're either hopefully stuffed in their backpacks or they're probably in the lost and found. But today the kids are going to need the sweaters and the jackets all throughout the day because there's a lot of spots that are going to be staying in the 50s today, Bridget. So, brr.
You know what? I made soup because we were talking about leftovers yesterday, and I made turkey and stars with the pastina in there. Do you see that?
Pastina.
Yes. Unfortunately, though, the occasion for making it is that Elise had a fever. So, but the kids loved it. They loved it. So,
yeah.
And she's
How's
feeling
she feeling
a little
today?
better.
Better?
Yeah, a little better. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's probably because mom's soup helps out.
I hope so.
Always. It's the best medicine, right? I got to get that recipe. All right. Let's talk about soup making kind of weather, Christmas tree picking, decorations. Decorations might be going up today. I have a feeling that we're going to have a lot of Christmas trees on cars in the next couple of days because people are kind of feeling that festive spirit, hopefully just in time for Giving Tuesday. Well, Bridget will have more on that in just a few seconds, but let's look at the big picture. This is our satellite and radar composite. We are seeing a little bit of moisture over the Gulf of Mexico. We have a lot of cloud cover overhead. Now, we do have enough dry air in place over the Sunshine State that we should stay mostly dry for today. So here's the information you need to know if you are running out the door. This afternoon, temperatures are going to be staying in the 50s and 60s. So normally we start off cold and then we warm up into the 70s. That's not going to be the case. All that cloud cover that's moving in, although we will stay dry, it will keep temperatures about 10 degrees below average. And then for tonight, temperatures will tumble even further. Our skies will clear, and those temperatures will go down to about 30s and 40s, which, by the way, could be the coldest morning that we've seen since late January, over 300 days to be exact. So right now, out the door, 44 in Ocala. We're at 46 in Palm Coast, 51 in Orlando, 54 in Cocoa Beach, and the temperatures will drop even further again by tomorrow morning. Looking at your temperature change, we're talking about a 10 to 15 degree drop compared to yesterday. When we were talking, it's 15 degrees cooler than yesterday's Breakfast with Bridgett temperatures, okay? Now, I know there's a lot of numbers here, but I just want to show it to you. So if you're watching and you know you're going to be in New Smyrna Beach today, you're going to be in Ocala, maybe Kissimmee. These are your temperatures for today and then your temperatures for tomorrow. Our highs for today in many spots like Palm Coast, Ocala, the Villages, Leesburg, you guys will actually be staying in the 50s officially for your highs today. More of those low 60s, really struggling to hit those low 60s up and down the I-4 corridor, a touch warmer along our coast. Then Wednesday, we will start that warming trend, albeit gradual. We'll be still in the 60s again for your Wednesday, and then we'll be into the 70s come Friday. Look at your forecast lows for tonight. So the skies will clear, allow all that heating from the day to escape, and temperatures will drop. 36 could be your wake-up temperature early tomorrow morning in Ocala, 39 in the Villages. So again, today we're starting off 40s and 50s. Tomorrow it's going to be more 30s and 40s. We're going to drop those temperatures down even further. And as you get results, here's your full 7-day forecast. You can see Wednesday warming up slightly after that very chilly morning. We'll get into the 70s Thursday, the 80s come Friday. And look at that. Before you know it, our overnight lows will be much warmer than what our highs will be today. So we're really going to flip that 7-day kind of backwards, kind of upside down as we head into the weekend. And we got our lighting of the Christmas tree in downtown Orlando on Friday. I was really hoping that cool air was going to stick around for it, but of course, like every year, it doesn't.
I don't like that 30% rain chance on Friday either, considering we do have to go out to Lake Eola to light the tree.
Yeah, well, the good news is it's not like a big front or anything that's going to be, or a big disturbance like we've been dealing with for the past couple of weeks. This is more of an onshore flow, or high kind of pushes offshore. We bring that flow off the ocean. So naturally you'll get a couple scattered showers, but nothing if you're planning on coming out to downtown Orlando to light the Christmas tree or any Christmas tree lighting around across Central Florida on Friday. We're still looking pretty good.
Okay, so maybe we can add some little lights, little tree lights onto the Friday forecast.
That's actually really good. You know what? When I hang up with you on this one, I might actually do that. I was trying to think of something to do.
Just a little twinkling strand of lights. I don't know if that's in your graphics bank, but maybe. I don't know.
I'll find it, Bridget.
I can't believe it's already time to light the tree.
It's crazy. And then next year, I realized that Thanksgiving is like the last week of. So we have a late Thanksgiving, which we have a shortened Christmas holiday. So I have a feeling a lot of people will be putting up their Christmas lights and stuff even earlier next year. Yeah.
Well, and it'll be next year before you know it. But let's not get into all that. Let's just it's Giving Tuesday. Let's stay here in Giving Tuesday. That's what
we're gonna do.
Yeah, we'll just
there's been a lot of giving on this Tuesday with the Salvation Army, so I know you'll have more on that.
Yes, Trooper Steve's over in Studio B, and I need to see if he is over there. He is over there now. Thank you, Kathleen. And it is Breakfast with Bridgett over in Studio B, so let's go over to Trooper Steve. And he is hanging out with the Salvation Army, and we have several people there this morning who are also helping volunteer with the phone bank. And can we hear you?
Oh, there we go.
Yes, there you are.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so you're headed over to Studio B.
That's right, Bridget. So I decided to stay in-house today because we do have the Salvation Army here. And the partnership that we have with them, you've been doing it way longer than I have. It's in concrete here at News 6, and I've jumped on this bandwagon so intensely. So like you said with Candace, it is Giving Tuesday, so we have them in-house today for that phone bank. And the amount of funds that have been raised, we've had that amazing individual, $5,000 an hour he's going to donate.
For 10 hours, I think he said.
For 10 hours.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I wish. So I wish I could have the opportunity to help people like that, but he does. So just wanted to step in here to.
And Light Orlando offered to match dollar for dollar up to 100,000.
That's true. That Light Orlando also. So here we are. We're in Studio B. We are. I'm gonna make sure my hand doesn't get up in here. I don't do the selfie thing very often. But you can see the crews are in here from the Salvation Army, ready to take your call. You can call all day long till 7 o'clock tonight, and we'll have people here constantly answering. A lot of people are saying, well, where are these funds going? Mm-hmm. And the big thing is it's the forgotten angels. And I don't want that to come across as like, oh, how can you forget somebody? It's just the craziness of life, right? So all these angels, we have thousands and thousands of children, 1,000 seniors. And if someone, say, forgot to turn back in their angel, that's where these funds are going to kick in. And then, of course, purchase those gifts for the ones that may have not been returned on time. So that's why we're collecting these funds, Bridget. And I'm so excited that we get to be a part of this every year. Salvation Army will also be with us there on Friday, which is pretty cool. I would normally try to do an interview here, but with the Bluetooth setup, I don't think it's going to work properly. But you could definitely see the staff is here, grinding down the numbers. We've got volunteers over here. I'll introduce you to some of the volunteers. We're here on News 6 Plus. I got Breakfast with Bridgett right now. So we're live over here. You can see the volunteers ready to rock and roll this morning. So they want you guys to call. That number that you need to call, if you're curious, is 1-888. So 1-888-436-6665.
And I'm photobombing Trooper
And I
Steve.
even have the man right here. So you can't hear Bridget. I can. She says, hello, Captain. Good morning.
Bridget.
So Captain says good morning to you guys. And he'll be here all day?
All day.
All day long. The guy doesn't stop.
This is going to be a great day, too.
Great day. And then we're going to get to see you on Friday for the Christmas tree lighting.
Hallelujah.
It doesn't stop with this guy. So, Captain, appreciate you guys being out here.
Trooper Steve, best guy in Orlando.
Oh, The captain said best guy in Orlando, so it's got to be truth, right? So, but no, give us a call 1-888-436-6665. These volunteers are going to be here all day, 7 o'clock tonight. The captain says he's going to be here too, Bridgett, all day. So I'm going to hold him to that.
Yeah, this is a great way to get involved today, and I appreciate that live hit for us, Trooper Steve. And again, that number, 888-436-6665. You can also text the word GOOD to 24365 and help out the lost and forgotten angels. And, you know, we're halfway there to the goal. We've got almost 3,000 adopted, 3,000 more to go. So we appreciate everyone helping out. And, of course, all these donations are tax deductible, so that's great, too.
Yes. Thanks, Bridgett.
Thank you. Thanks, Trooper Steve. We want to get to a few of the top stories this morning before we get to some more interviews. There is a crime alert this morning near UCF. We want to show you a sketch. And investigators are searching for this man who attacked a woman at an off-campus apartment complex. That is also a surveillance video that captured some pictures of the man running out or running in. This happened Saturday night at Mercury 3100 Apartments near Alafaya Boulevard, and the surveillance shows him running down the stairs after deputies say he followed a victim to her apartment, then tried to force his way inside and tried to assault her. And deputies released that composite sketch as well to show a closer look at who they think they're looking for here. Now, thankfully, the woman and her roommate were able to fight that guy off and get him out of there. But again, he is still on the run somewhere out there. And certainly investigators want your help recognizing him and bringing him in. If you recognize him or know anything that can help, call the Orange County Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers. And on to the latest with the Pulse Memorial updates. Leaders in Orange County are set to discuss what's going to come next with the Pulse nightclub property, which is supposed to be turned into a museum, eventually honoring the 49 lives lost. The proposed site, again, is at the corner of Cayley Street and Division Avenue, and this is after the One Pulse Foundation announced last week that they were dissolving and that the project was unrealistic. But of course, you know, we've reported on this. Millions of dollars have been spent on this already. And so what they're looking to do with this is the county wants to discuss how to spend the Pulse Museum tourist tax development dollars. And we will also look at how they're discussing the steps to take the property back under county control. As we've reported, the county did purchase the property. So we'll keep you updated on that discussion in Orange County. We're going to take a quick 30-second break. We'll be back to talk about holiday stress with an expert. All right, welcome back to Breakfast with Bridgett. We want to talk about holiday stress this morning. We know that, Thanksgiving is behind us now, and joining me this morning is Charles Parker, bereavement coordinator at Hospice of Health First. Thanks for coming back on, and I appreciate you calling in so early this morning to talk to us.
No problem. Can you hear me today?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, great. And
yes.
I wanted to say congratulations on this new format. It's really nice. And
thank you.
Make sure everybody you call that Salvation Army number today and give the Angel Tree Project.
Mm-hmm. You're a bereavement coordinator with Hospice of Health First, and so a lot goes into that with dealing with people who are in very tough spots in what's a part of life as well as death.
Yes, I work for Hospice of Health First, and in bereavement, we work with families, primarily work with families after the death, just to help walk them through their grief journey, really just to reassure them that grieving is a difficult time, but that they are grieving well, and that they're getting through that with our support and with support of their family and friends.
Mm-hmm. And what is it about the holidays, I think, that triggers people? Because you think about a lot of the memories. I know for me, like Thanksgiving was a big holiday for one of my aunts. And then when she passed, it was like Thanksgiving is almost bittersweet now because she was the one who would do the huge, family gathering. So it's
Yes,
like those memories.
the thing is, one thing about grief and stress, and you mentioned stress earlier as well. One thing about grief and stress is kind of like thinking that something negative might happen based on past events, and it can cause chemical reaction. It can cause bodily heart rate and blood pressure and digestion issues and all those kinds of things, and kind of lead to kind of impulsive behaviors, which is normal for stress. And when you add in the grief with that, it really can just really make the holidays a difficult time. So there's some different things that you can do for the stress, and some things you can do for the grief as well to prepare for both of those. Stress-wise, I always like to tell people, you got to start your day off just to try to relieve stress. Start your day off some positive attitude. Go outside, touch the ground with some bare feet, get some deep breathing in, drink water, those kind of things to start your day off right. But I want to do a little exercise with you also to help with some stress relief. Bridgett, would you like to do that with me?
Let's go. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a lot of times with stress, you get focused in on one thing, right? You get kind of just tunnel vision, and with the grief as well, you're just focused in on you missing that loved one. So you want to widen out your kind of attitude. There's a famous book called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, who was a Nazi death camp survivor. And he always talked about creating space between stimulus and response. And so you want to widen things out, even in conversation. If you're having some difficult conversations, widen that space between what's said to you and before you respond. But also just think getting a wider view of things sometimes helps. So what you do is, you want to focus in on one point for like 15 seconds, right? You just focus in. I'm focusing on this little light on my camera, right? So I'm focusing in on like 15 seconds. Then you just take your fingers out here and put them out at your peripheral, and just gradually let yourself relax in the peripheral vision. You can feel your whole body really just kind of calm down when you do that.
Right. You put the fingers and then.
Right. You focus in first, and then you just bring them out here, and then you can just almost feel your body relax when you widen that view. Mm-hmm. So you want to look at sometimes.
So you're acknowledging that even though you're focused on the point, you're acknowledging the peripheral.
Right. So you just widen it out. Yes. Some really tips for people in the holidays with grief. There's a great grief expert named Kenneth Doka. He's a PhD, D-O-K-A. And he talks about the 3 C's for grief in holidays. You choose, you communicate, and you compromise. So the first one is you can really choose. You have to really think ahead and choose the activities that are going to be meaningful but not triggering, as you mentioned earlier. You may think, okay, I'm not going to go to that Christmas office party because that will be too much for me, but I do want to spend time with my grandchildren because I can talk about memories of the loved one that we lost possibly. Then you want to make sure you communicate that with the rest of the family. And in that communicating, you might have to compromise a little bit. So I don't know about your family, but I have an extended family in North Carolina. We have a Facebook group that we're all on together. And then locally here, we have, text, kind of a text thing, local family members. And so you want to make sure you say, if you're thinking about your loved one and think, I really can do this, but I really just don't feel comfortable doing this, or the setting up. We talked about Thanksgiving. Some people will even have like an empty chair at a holiday table.
Oh, yeah. Or wanting to go visit the grave site, and maybe some people aren't ready to do that.
Right. Some people, so that's that compromise. Some people may think, I just can't have that empty chair at that table.
Yeah.
But maybe we can take a time during the meal to talk about and say our favorite times with our loved ones. We did that at a recent support group. I went around the room and said, tell me your favorite Thanksgiving moment with the loved one that you've lost. And it was really, everybody was smiling and laughing and having a nice time about it because you're thinking about the fun things. And if you have kids, maybe making some kind of craft, a placemat with pictures of the loved one, or making a special, something special for the tree or something like that to kind of, make meaning and create legacy for that person that's not with us anymore.
I think that, a big part of it, like you said, is the communication of, acknowledging whatever those feelings are, what are the root of the feelings or the behaviors are. When it comes to sort of that hustle bustle part of the holidays, how do you suggest people deal with it? Because there seems to be greater and greater expectation to, create magic, to, do all of these cards and parties and, give here and give there. And, there's just never ending lists of different things. And some people thrive in those types of assignments, and some people feel overwhelmed, and maybe the finances aren't in place to be able to deliver on some of the expectations. So how do you suggest people deal during the holidays where, there's that added stress of trying to deliver on, whatever this idea of what things are supposed to look like or be?
Well, particularly people in grief, you have to give yourself permission to relax and not overdo yourself. That stress that we talk about, that can really physically knock you down. So you want to stay positive and focused in the holidays, but you don't want to be physically let down either. So really, that's more of that communication. I remember years ago when one of my sons was really little, I'd never done Black Friday before. And so I took him in a stroller out for Black Friday. And I said, I'll never do this again. So you learn your lessons, right? But I think that you're giving yourself permission to relax. One thing we talk about in grief a lot is that sadness. And sadness can be so overwhelming, but you have to have that, just sit with the sadness. I think I mentioned this when I was in the studio with you all a few months ago, that you have to almost like act like the sadness is an unwanted house guest, and you just pull a chair up to the fire with sadness and sit with it until it leaves. And eventually that sadness, that house guest, will come less frequently and won't stay as long. But you have to honor that sadness and let it take your time.
You can't try to ignore it. You can't try to run from it.
No, absolutely not. And also, one thing to remember that people in grief can remember as well is, in a family unit, that compromise is really important. But we all grieve differently. Even though we kind of grieve the same way, we all grieve differently in our own way. And making sure that we honor other people's grief in our family. People will say inappropriate things sometimes. They don't mean to, but they're just trying to be nice and to be helpful. And especially the holidays with Christmas cards and different things, there may be some mistakes with names on cards, or or other holiday traditions as well. And so, making sure that while you're in your grief, you're understanding that other people are grieving as well, and to try to give everybody a break as well, and not try to feel too overwhelmed if somebody does something that you think is inappropriate.
And is it, would you say it's okay to, like you said, it's okay to feel sad? We feel there's a lot of guilt attached to grief for some reason.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of scheduling things. And, you may even, if you're going to be planning to spend some time with a family member, or a group of family members over one of the many holidays we have this time of the year, different faith traditions. You could even schedule a time in that day and say, for this 30 minutes, we're going to remember Aunt Mary. And that's what we're going to take that time out and specifically. And that gives everybody the chance to really focus in on that person that's not there, and be sad, be happy, remember the good times, but also, have some moments of sadness. It's okay to do that.
And where would you suggest going for, further resources with dealing with, holiday stress, as well as, the grief that can get more overwhelming this time of year?
Grief.com is a great place. And for kids, there's a place called the Dougie Center, which is DOUGY. Both of those are great places to go. Lots of information. If anybody would like to talk to me, I'm happy to talk with anybody during this time of the year. You can get me at charles.parker@hf.org. I'm happy to have a meeting with you. And even if it's somebody in Central Florida, I'm over in Brevard, but if it's Central Florida, I'm happy to do a Zoom or Teams or whatever we would do, and to help people out. We're always there to help.
And do you suggest, like groups as well, for people? Like how can you, I guess, convince people to give that a try?
Groups, the thing about support groups that's so important is, um, well, number one, you got a group of people that have a like mind. But number two, a lot of times we like to tell the stories of our loved ones, right? Uh, but our family and close friends have heard the stories over and over again. And though they may listen, they maybe also can kind of get tired of it. But
Mm-hmm.
being in a support group, you can still continue to tell those stories because these are people that you're starting to bond with, but they don't know the story of your life and of your family.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to do that is very important. I would caution, though, that if you're early in grief, sometimes a support group is not appropriate yet because you're just so overwhelmed and you're still in that really, really kind of deep shock and sadness deep shock and almost denial that comes in the early numbness that comes in the early days of grief. It's more important to work with a grief counselor or a grief support individual first for a little while before you get to a support group and really, find that placement that's important for you. That will
Okay.
fit you. Yep.
Okay. Well,
And we have them. We have support groups as well, so you can call us about that or email me, and we're happy to help out and to help you place with that.
at Hospice Health First.
Yes.
All right. Well, it's so good to see you again, Mr. Parker, and I hope you have a happy and safe holiday with your loved ones. And we appreciate the feedback and advice to help people dealing with, some of the ups and downs of the holidays.
Thank you so much, Bridgett, and you have a happy holidays as well.
All right. Hope to see you soon. Well, we wanted to get to a few things. We have the tree lighting, like we mentioned, coming up on Friday from 5 to 9 at Lake Eola Park. That lighting will be happening at 7 p.m. There's a stage show with Orlando Concert Band, and then the countdown to the tree lighting starts at 8 p.m. So we hope that you'll join us and the morning team there. And we'll also have some more details on that coming up throughout the week, and we hope that you can head over to clickorlando.com for more stories and more updates. And remember, it is Giving Tuesday. Call the number 888-436-6665 to help donate to the Angel Tree Program. And the dollars are being matched today by Light Orlando, so your dollars go twice as far. And we really appreciate you watching Breakfast with Bridgett this morning on News 6 Plus. We will be back tomorrow at 7:30. And if you'd like to reach out with any ideas of what you'd like to see on Breakfast with Bridgett, email me at bwb@wkmg.com or breakfastwithbridgett@wkmg.com. Make it a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.